everybody, Jennifer from A Closed Heart Experience here again. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. We'd love to have you join our family. If you'd like to share your story, please hit us up in the comments, send us an email. All the information's in that little description box down below my chunky melon. If you're old to the channel, thank you. Thank you for all the prayers, well wishes, and emails, and I am so grateful for all of you. I was supposed to have a video out Thursday, but they actually released my father from the hospital on Wednesday, which caused a flurry of activity, and the Thursday video did not get done. So my apologies. But the good news is he's home. Everybody's doing better. They're back in their own element, which sometimes I think when you're ill is half the battle. Being in a hospital almost makes it harder to heal sometimes, I think. But taking somebody out of the hospital is also quite frightening. Anyhow, I say that a lot, and I say a lot. So be it. I hope everybody has had a good week. I will not bore you with the stress of my own, although, oh, where is it? Yeah, my volcano is subsiding. That's a plus, but we got a new one starting up here. At some point, life will get easier, right? I was just talking to a friend saying, because they said that life doesn't get easier, and I'm like, no more blasphemous talk. I am going to live happily ever after in peace and quiet with a full bank account at some point in my life. No one can dissuade me. Which leads me to this Saturday subject. Every day in this office, you know, I talk to people that I talk to once a year because I do their tax return once a year. And the conversation usually goes like, hey, how are you doing? I hope you had a good year. Everybody is going through hell right now. That's all I can tell you. It's just flabbergasting to me how many people are suffering from illnesses, or watching or somebody go through an illness, or caretaking somebody going through an illness. It's a little surprising to me. I had a talk with a friend about it, and their comment was that, oh, we're getting older. No, my parents were older when I was a kid, and I do not remember this many people being ill, sick, passing away at one time. There's something else going on, but I will leave that subject to you to figure out. Anyhow, after hearing all these depressing and heart-wrenching stories, I decided to do a short on hope, and I posted it for Friday, which is actually today, I'm sorry. Hope is really hard to find sometimes. It's really hard to be the glass half full when everything around you is emptying out. And it's one thing I have always tried to do. Have I always succeeded? Oh, hell no. No. But trying to look at the bright side of things when you're in the middle of your darkest times is extremely difficult. But if we can hang on to hope, if we can hang on to dreams, and we can hang on to love, I think those three things will get us through. I think the worst is when we're experiencing the possible loss or the loss of a loved one. There is not too many band-aids you can put on that. And the stress and the strain and the worry and the grief and the weight on your shoulders gets to be too heavy. And all I can tell you is one day at a time. Get up, keep putting those pants on, putting your boots on, and going again. And prayer. Prayer has been, you know, a lot of people, especially in the Catholic religion, think you have to sit down and say a bunch of recited prayers. For me, I talk to God just about every minute of every dang day. God, help me through this. God, help me figure this out. God, I need a miracle. God, forgive me for needing so much when I know there's others who need more. And then at the end of the day, thank you. Thank you, God, for helping me get through. It's continual for me. Continual, all day, every day. And because of this, because of the stress and the stress I've witnessed through others of this last week, I kind of wanted to do a video on something a little bit more uplifting. A happy story of a man who lived a life well. Yeah, he's a relative of mine. Other than my father, he is somebody that I took a lot from. My father, my grandpa, and my Uncle Mike, who I'm going to tell you about today. And I'm not going to get emotional about it. He was a good man. I will tell you before we got started, he lost his life due to COVID. But the life he lived, the relief he brought to so many people, it's inspiring. And if we could do this every day, you don't have to do what he did. But even just reaching out a hand, a listening ear, just a shoulder for somebody to cry on, I think this world would be a better place, and it would be much easier to traverse through this muckery of life. I was just talking to a friend, and I don't know, we all need a little bit of hope. We all need the strength, we all need just a hand to hold to get through things, you know? Nothing is too bad to ever conquer. And I think if we all work together more, maybe that's the lessons we're supposed to be learning right now. I don't know. But let me tell you about my Uncle Mike. He went by many names. He went by Uncle Monkey. He went by Uncle Kaka. But he mainly went by Uncle Mike. Sorry, my eye is bugging me. He came out of a family of 11 kids. And he was, I want to say the third. I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But he was supposed to be the priest of the family. He did go to the seminary, but he never became a priest. Not in the traditional sense, but he was the kind of person that ran rosary every Sunday in the family house, and always the first to pray for somebody. Always had a rosary in his pocket and in his hand. But he also served in the Navy. In fact, he was the operations manager. I'm reading it because I can't remember his title every time. On the Apollo 11 splashdown astronaut recovery effort. Yeah, he was there. I saw this neat little plaque that the government had given to him as a thank you for rescuing these astronauts. Anyhow, he served on the USS New, which was a class destroyer. He was awarded both a National Defense Service Medal and the Bronze Star. After that, he became a chef, a manager, and eventually moved back to our hometown. He lived in Hawaii for a little bit. That man could dance. I can't remember, I think it says in here, he liked to cha-cha, but he would do the Russian tartar. And let me tell you, when that man started that, everybody like cleared the dance floor and could not wait to watch him do this dance. It was quite impressive. And there were a few times when I was growing up, my aunt had monkey bars, and I'd go outside and he'd be hanging from his toes from the bars. He was just an amazing man. Anyhow, the part that inspires me, the part that I hope to live up to someday in my life, which is a pretty tall order because for 30 years he served the senior center in our hometown in Montana. And when I say served, he was the chef for a long time. He was the head chef. He made every meal. He planned, and nobody truly knows how much of his own money went into those meals. He would buy things out of his own pocket. He would repair things out of his own pocket. He made sure that everybody that came in there left with a full belly. And not just the people that went in there. He, out of his own time, would go and clean the senior center at night and do the repairs himself and buy the parts himself. But he would also go in on his days off and cook meals and deliver them to people that could not make it to the senior center. He did this for 30 years. He fed the elderly in our hometown and made sure everybody stayed healthy. Everybody had a meal in their belly. And was never asked to do that. He did that on his own. On his own. He taught me so many things. My favorite thing about him is that he was kind of a hermit. And I think I get some of that from him. He enjoyed his peace and quiet significantly. And he loved a garden. And so when I'd go back home for a visit, that's the first place we would end up, is in his garden. And he would show me the new techniques and stuff he had found, or one of the other cousins, there's like 100 and something of us running around, had shown him off the internet, and he was going to try it. And just impressive. He just always had a full garden. And no, he would take those vegetables down to the senior center and use them in the meals or hand them out to people who needed them. That's the kind of man he was. And he is also the man, when my husband had a stroke, he just started sending me money. And little did he know how much I needed it. I never asked. He just knew. Just a good guy. And you could, his sense of humor. We were always messing with him. But the long and short of it is, he'd usually just shake his head and walk away. And because he lived in Hawaii for so long, when I'd be home and we were living up on the hill where he lived, I'd be driving back from somewhere, and it would be like 100 degrees, 110 something out, and he'd be running across the field with a flannel shirt on. I never understood it. I'd be sweating buckets, and that man had a flannel shirt on in 110 degree weather. And he never shied away from work. He always worked. Up to the date of his death, that's all he did was work. He knew how to run a farm. He knew how to take care of cattle. He did construction for many years and would help people build things, and just a well-rounded, so caring, so giving, so loving. He wasn't the kind that would come up and say, "I love you," but you knew it. You knew he did. There was never a doubt in my mind And he is probably my favorite uncle. My favorite uncle of all times. I was just reading his obituary and it said he started breakdancing in the 70s. I never got to see him breakdance. That's kind of sad. Actually, maybe I did. He spun on his back a few times at some of our family reunions, but if we take anything away from this, is he sacrificed his entire life for other people. And that takes a special person, a special human. And no, I'm not saying everybody needs to stop everything they're doing and go join a seminary somewhere and take care of the world like he did. But if we just take even an eighth of that and extend a hand out to some of these people that are going through some really dark times, or some elderly who do not have any other family, or a child who needs to be adopted and doesn't have a family. Stop keeping up with the Joneses and become a community. All of these videos are intertwined. It's all about being a decent human. It doesn't mean sacrifice your life for the greater good of others, but would an hour a week really be that big of a problem? Just think if we all did things like my Uncle Mike did. If even just for an hour we made somebody a meal, but we were all doing this, there would be no problems in this world. Everybody would be taken care of. Just food for thought. Peeps, we need to get out of our selfishness, our self-preservation. Well, I think we all need a little self-preservation. However, there seems to be a plague of selfishness in the United States, at least from what I've seen. And if we could all just break that, just break it. It's okay to love other people. It's okay to care about other people. It's okay to help other people. You don't have to do it nonstop. But what if an hour a week? And it doesn't have to be people. Every time I'm home, my dad and I take a drive into the woods several times. We're always out and about looking at the scenery. We come home with more garbage than we went up with. And it's because as we're driving along and we see that people have thrown their crap out the car window or had a wee bit of a party and didn't clean up after themselves, we clean it up. What if everybody did that? Am I saying we're perfect? No. I'm saying an ounce is better than nothing at all. That's what I'm saying. And even just a donation. And I'm not talking money, but what about a donation of your time? What if you went down to the food bank and made boxes for people for an hour? Again, these are just thoughts, and I'm rambling on and on. I just wish we could get back to taking care of each other. If we could do that, we wouldn't need all these programs. I'm sure a few would fall through the cracks, the hermits like myself that don't reach out to other people and they're 93. However, I think we all know where those people live. Taking them a meal once a week is not a huge asking. Anyhow, there we go again with that word, anyhow. I just wanted to leave you with good people. good things do happen. It's not just this darkness that seems to be all around us right now. Love each other, take care of each other, and hopefully I'll see you Monday. No promises. I love y'all. Bye.